A standard for that position, regardless of who's in there. Practice games, how we operate, what we believe in. We have a very, very high standard.
It should have been two battles running side by side throughout training camp. Identify the best veteran, identify the best rookie, and enter the season with those two locked in at 1 and 2 on the depth chart, fully clear about how it will play out. Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of this unfolding quarterback drama. We're going 2-minute drill here, red zone there, unscripted, both coaches calling plays as the ball moves. Those quarterbacks need that kind of work against the Myles Garretts and the Denzel Wards if they're ever thrown into the fire. And to everyone calling me a sellout all week for my analysis on Shedeur Sanders, for those who messaged me Uncle Tom or commented, "Fool," I want to say something from the bottom of my heart. When NFL analyst Ryan Clark was attacked and called an Uncle Tom for saying Shedeur Sanders should sit behind Dylan Gabriel on the Browns' depth chart, he didn't apologize or walk it back. Instead, he dropped one of the most savage responses in sports media history. From the bottom of my heart, kiss my ass. And here's the kicker. Clark's ruthless honesty about Shedeur might actually be the reality check that saves the young quarterback's career. Because while everyone is shouting about race and loyalty, Clark exposed something that could reshape how we see Shedeur's future in Cleveland.
For my analysis on Shedeur Sanders, for the people that messaged me Uncle Tom or commented, "Fool," I do want to say something to you sincerely from the bottom of my heart, and that's kiss my ass.
Ryan Clark, the same guy who's always stood up for black athletes, sat down on camera and did what most analysts would never risk. He told the hard truth. "I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders," he admitted immediately. "I wanted to watch the film and pound the table that he deserves to be the Week 1 starter." But then came the gut punch that sent social media into chaos. If you watch the film, if you compare it to Dylan Gabriel, that's just not the case. Think about the pressure of saying those words. A man who wants Deion's son to shine, who believes in Shedeur's talent, having to admit to millions of fans that the hype doesn't line up with the tape. That takes courage, and that's why the backlash smacked him like a truck. The internet went wild, Twitter fingers flew. People who never saw a single Browns practice suddenly became quarterback experts. They called Clark everything: sellout, Uncle Tom, traitor. But here's what they missed. Clark wasn't burying Shedeur for attention or clicks. He was doing something rare in this social media era. He was telling the truth. Think about it. He could have taken the easy route, said Shedeur is being screwed, that racism is keeping him down, that he deserves to start Week 1. The crowd would have eaten it up. The likes would have poured in. But Clark took the harder path, and when the hate came for him, he didn't just defend himself, he went nuclear.
Something on TV that you probably shouldn't. I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I wanted to turn the film on and be able to come on First Take, be on Get Up, and be on NFL Live and pound the table that he has been done wrong. Pound the table that he deserves to be the Week 1 starter. He deserves to be the 2 on the depth chart. But if you watch the film, if you compare it to what we did see from Dylan Gabriel, that's just not the case.
Shedeur, what do you see from this offense? Well, first off, the Browns didn't want to make a tough call. Picking who would be QB2 was already hard enough. It would have been much harder to decide which young quarterback should start. And when you see how Cleveland handled it, it's like relationships. You go back because you think the old one was better after the new one disappoints. When you feel a young quarterback has earned it, you pull the trigger then and there. But here's the truth. He was a 5th-round pick. And Clark fired back at his critics. 5th-round picks get treated like 5th-round picks, even if you think they were worth more. Here's where it gets real. Clark dropped knowledge fans don't want to hear. 32 teams passed on Shedeur, not once, but repeatedly. That's not racism. That's 32 front offices agreeing on the same evaluation. When Cleveland finally selected him at 144th, they weren't getting a polished, NFL-ready starter. They were getting a raw project with big upside. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. Clark's harsh words might be the best thing that happens to Shedeur Sanders. While fans scream about controversy, they're missing the truth. Clark just took the crushing pressure off Shedeur's shoulders. Think about it. Being behind Dylan Gabriel doesn't mean failure. It means you don't have to be the savior yet. You don't carry a franchise from day one. You get to learn, grow, and wait for the right moment. When the Browns' official depth chart dropped, Shedeur was listed QB3, exactly as Clark predicted. He called it, and he was right. But instead of credit, he got hate. That's when Clark finally snapped. For everyone who called me a sellout for my take on Shedeur Sanders, for those who DM'd me Uncle Tom, kiss my ass. The audacity of that line still chills me. A respected analyst, built on honesty, telling critics exactly what he thinks. But his response wasn't just savage, it carried a message. He wasn't backing down because he knows what most fans won't admit. He's watched the film. He's studied the plays. He understands NFL reality. And he's not about to sugarcoat it to make people feel better. I'm not going to scream sabotage or racism if I don't believe it, Clark explained. And here's where it gets deep. Clark admits the pre-draft coverage of Shedeur, those anonymous reports attacking his character, was loaded with racism. He called that out. But what's happening in Cleveland? That's football business. And here's where Clark's case gets brilliant. As an undrafted guy himself, he gets the system. I wasn't going to get the same reps as 5th or 6th rounders. Just like Shedeur won't get the same reps as Dylan Gabriel. This is truth from someone who lived it. Not a talking head, but a man who wore the pads. His message to Shedeur is simple. You've got to earn it. And then comes the truth bomb. Shedeur Sanders must play better. Ouch. But don't twist it. He's not saying Shedeur can't make it. He's saying, today, with the tape we have, he needs to improve. And maybe that's exactly the fire Shedeur needs. Think about it. He's been praised since high school, a college star, a legacy name. He's always heard how great he is. But Clark is giving him something far more valuable. Truth. I do believe he can have a bright future, but we must wait to see it. There it is. Not a dismissal, but reality. In a league where young quarterbacks get chewed up too soon, maybe patience is exactly what Shedeur needs. And here's the bigger play. While fans rage about race and loyalty, they miss Cleveland's strategy. The Browns aren't disrespecting Shedeur by slotting him at quarterback 3. They're protecting him. Who has the real pressure? Dylan Gabriel. If the Browns start 1-6, he takes the heat. Meanwhile, Shedeur gets to watch, learn, and prep without the burden. Every camera shot, every sideline reaction, every teammate interaction will be watched. If he handles it right, stays locked in, supports his team, he builds his brand. And when Gabriel stumbles or goes down, Shedeur's moment comes. That's when criticism becomes vindication. And that's why Clark's tough love matters. Look at Tom Brady, drafted 199th, sat behind Bledsoe, used it as fuel to become the GOAT. Look at Patrick Mahomes, sat behind Alex Smith, used the time to develop into an MVP. The best quarterbacks don't need to start right away. They need to be ready when the door opens. And that's Clark's whole point. Cleveland knows they drafted something special. They just know patience and development are priceless. Ryan Clark closed with words every Shedeur fan should respect. I'm still rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I love the Sanders family. Dion is my big bro. That's not betrayal. That's love strong enough to speak hard truths. Clark wants Shedeur to succeed so badly, he'll take the heat for keeping it real. While fans type outrage, Clark's giving Shedeur the honesty that might help him more than hype ever could. The question isn't whether Shedeur can play in the NFL. It's whether he'll grind hard enough to prove the doubters wrong. And if Clark's tough love motivates him instead of breaking him, this whole storm might just be the best thing that happens in his career. Because champions aren't made from praise and trophies. They're forged in criticism, adversity, and truth that hurts now but builds forever. Ryan Clark just gave Shedeur Sanders the most valuable gift, the truth. Now it's up to Shedeur to decide what he'll do with it. What do you think? Is Ryan Clark right that Shedeur needs more time to develop? Or is Cleveland wasting a generational talent on the bench? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe, because this Shedeur Sanders story is only beginning, and we'll be here for every twist until he finally proves everyone wrong. So don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin.